La la la.
Wow, my microphone picks stuff up from a long distance.
Tricksy little hobbits is.
Oh, thanks.
Tricksy Little Hobbits is for WTF.
Thanks, JP Sandman. Appreciate for the sub. Oh, I'm not sure if I've set my camera. Oh no! Oh, we're gonna have to set it up live. How unprofessional. Bam. Let's get a chat. Get out of here, Pedro. Gonna have to make this live. Oh no! Look how shiny my head is. Everything's wrong with this. Right. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Look, this is Christmas. I blame everything that means that I have diminished responsibility for doing this poorly. Everyone that's been affected. Look, so first off, I've got to make my head less shiny. Bam! Head is less shiny. That helps. Then we are going to zoom the camera in slightly. Then we're going to move the microphone slightly out of the way. And then we're going to turn off focus. Turn focus down a little bit. Boom. Perfect! That'll do, won't it? Yeah, slightly down maybe. Hello, how is everyone? I hope you had a Merry Christmas. It's not New Year yet. Soon to be New Year. Thank you very much, Sandman. Thank you very much, Arian here, for the love. Thank you all the emote spam. I typically don't have emote spam, but I suppose it's getting towards the new year, new lease
I couldn't choose a sound for being hosted, so I decided to use this.
of Star Citizen Life. I'm starting to do gameplay stuff. Me and Zen are going to play through all the missions in 3.4.1. I don't know why I've got my headphones on. Thank you very much for the host, Araneo. Appreciate it. I'm going to update some of my sounds and stuff. If anyone would like to ask a question about me or my channel or about bipolar, anxiety, Star Citizen, whatever, put them all in the same category. Then please question in brackets. I'm not a CIG dev, but I do know a good amount about the game, probably more than 99% of people. Yeah, and some people have been asking, is there other ways that they can support the channel beyond Patreon? Because there's lots of issues with Patreon at the moment, because people don't trust them and things like that. And I haven't gone too much into researching it myself, which I will look at as soon as I've got some free time, because I know some people aren't happy and they say you can't support them, sort of thing. So I don't know where I stand on that yet, but I will have a look. But if people want to support other mediums in the short term, you can become a channel member from the links below. You can, it's literally the little join button on the YouTubes, or you can donate directly, things like that. Oh, thank you very much. Someone's donated directly on the Super Chats. I don't know how to... Thanks for all you do. Top Gun PC. Well, thank you very much for giving me money. I just play games and talk about them. It just so happens that game's is mostly Star Citizen, and I love it. I love the project. So with Star Citizen, I realised that I don't necessarily always love the game and the patches and stuff, but I love the project. I love what it's becoming. I love the community. There's certain stuff I hate about Star Citizen on occasion. Like, I was filming loads of gameplay this morning, maybe about 6 hours, and about 2 hours of that gameplay was me doing the same mission again, and again, and again, and again, because it would bug out in some way. But I suppose that's the best it's ever been. Like, I had high frame rates, and like almost always above 80, unless I was Levski or Lorville. That's the only time it went below that, really. Looking across Port Olisar when there's a load of people, it would dip to around 60. It was really good frame rates. It's just some of the missions bug out in some way. Typically, that will be if someone is doing the same mission as you at the same time, whatever. So, like Wallace Clim mission, someone went to Wallace Clim at the same time that I did, and that caused the machine where I got the item out of that broke occasionally. So it would just keep on going, nope, there's no item here. So I had to keep on going back until it said, yeah, there's an item here, until he left. And when the dude he had put the item that I needed to put on the shelf to complete the mission, someone else had put an item there already, so I couldn't complete the mission. There was things like that. I suppose I could have just waited for that item to despawn, which I think it would have in time. Twerk17 lost his mind doing delivery missions and cargo and started playing ED. I'm not kidding, lol. Yeah, I can see that with some of them, there's still problems with them, but we still have pretty fucking good accessibility for 3.4.1. Probably the best we've ever had when it comes to mission accessibility and the ability to do stuff in the verse without it bugging out and exploding. And it's annoying still. Yeah, there's still problems with it, and we need to report them, we need to comment on them. That's important. Say what's appropriate, say what's not appropriate. But it is in a lot better a state than we've ever had. Still not the best. They've been doing hotfixes over Christmas, and I still think they need a little tiny bit of polish just to make sure all those missions are working as intended 99% of the time. Because there's a tiny bit of tolerance, maybe 1 in 50 times, 98% of the time. A little tolerance of a mission bugging out, yeah, it's an alpha. There's going to be loads of edge cases, it's fucking everywhere. It's just when they more often bug out than not. Like when mission givers and admins used to constantly go unresponsive. That is not appropriate, and for the most part I haven't actually had that. I've been playing a lot to see if that appears, but I need to go through every mission in the game again a few times, really get a feel for it. And I've realised that I'm quite a bad combat pilot again now, like I've gone back down the I don't really know how to fly properly and fight, so I have to use the more overpowered dogfighting ships like the Super Hornet or the Sabre or whatever to do those combat missions, so I can do them successfully and consistently. When the new flight model's around, I am planning to get reasonably good at flying again. Like I'll play a few hours a day at least just combat fighting, just dogfighting. I suppose it's going to be a whole different experience when you're flying a larger ship. They do want to increase the times to kill with those, which is important. So it's going to be a lot more based on disabling ships, targeting components, rather than a ship health pool. The shields will still have a health pool, but the actual ship itself, there's going to be more physicalized damage. And individual components and items are going to be the things that disable your ship, will take your ship out of action, and then, yeah, occasionally your ship might blow apart if you hit a power plant or something that's pretty low and you hit it with a big explosion. Boom, it could go critical, could blow up a large portion of the ship, but it could also just be disabled, and that might be repairable, or it might not be repairable, and then people can board ships and things like that as well. So time to disable, and is a ship disabled or destroyed? There's going to be lots more going on soon. I know it's unfortunate to say soon, but they are working on some of that for 3.5. They are physicalizing more components. They're trying to get all components physicalized in the Terrapin in the short term. And by that, what I mean, let me turn off the preview because I don't want it to stutter my voice if it was stuttering at all. And by that, what I mean is that each component, like shield and power plant and weapon, all physicalized on the ship. And if you remove that item, it physically takes out of the loop of the ship. That item was literally providing what it's supposed to and simulating what it's providing properly, and it was interacting with all the systems in the ship. And if that item gets shot or damaged or worn out or whatever, then you need to replace that item or replace a part of that item. Yeah, so there's supposed to be an ATV today and around the verse from CIG. I'm not particularly sure what's going on with it. It could be a holiday special. It might just be an ATV. It could be some more sort of like secret plans. Because at the moment, we didn't really have a holiday special, but what they did do is went, here are our financials. We're becoming, we've got $46 million more, which we got from private investors. And there you go. There's some Christmas sales and stuff on as well, but it's not like super impressive ships or anything. It's 3.4 flyable ships and some, well, there were some discount packages for the Aurora and the Mustang Alpha. But yeah. Can we rent ground vehicles at Levski? You can't rent anything at the moment. You can buy ground vehicles at Levski though. Yes. You can buy the Dragonflies. I think you can still buy the Tumble Cyclone. You can buy them with in-game money.
I couldn't choose a sound for being hosted.
I'm
so I
not getting
decided to
paid by
use this.
CIG, but you should have put question in front of that. So you can see down below in all my video descriptions, it says I'm not a CIG employee, don't get paid by them. I'm a Star Citizen fan. I have once received a teacup and saucer from CIG, but nothing else. If I ever did, I would fully disclose that. Thank you very much, Thorhammer. I love your face. Can Brexit have an effect on Star Citizen since it will have an effect on Europe? Yeah, I mean, Brexit, Article 13, Article 11, everything that goes on around the world will have an effect on Star Citizen, even if it's incredibly minor. Brexit could have an effect on the free movement of people between studios. It could mean that Star Citizen, it becomes less profitable to run a large percentage of the studio in Germany or in the UK or whatever. So yeah, there might be some knock-on effects. Almost certainly will be. Just how minor, how major is that? How does that affect the amount of money going into the game? How does that affect the movement of employees across Germany, US, UK, the rest of the world? I'll put it in my list of things to understand. Like, I'll look into stuff and go, oh yeah, it will increase taxes by a certain amount, or maybe the UK will. It might even be better. It might be better for it. It's unlikely, but it's possible. Or it might be so negligible in impact that it's irrelevant. I am from the UK. Oh my god, such. I need some breakfast, not Brexit. I see. How is everyone doing? Good, 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 good. Thank you very much for the love, by the way. Happy day. Bored, I have a video of a guy taking a charged sniper shot to the head. You know of what CIG intends to do about hacking in the game. Benjamin Perez, they've talked about hacking prevention before. They're looking into it. It's something that's more likely to come later in the project when, hopefully at the same sort of time as full persistence, when that sort of stuff matters more. However, the shot to the head that was a charged sniper rifle headshot could have been a bug. I mean, there's a billion things that it could have been. He could have been wearing a heavy helmet and it sort of like just clipped him, although that should have probably still killed him. Or could still kill him. But, you know, it could have been a bug. It could have been desync. There could have been lots of other reasons, not hacking. But specific to hacking, they are looking into it. I hope it's not going to be a bullshit, invasive anti-hack measure that doesn't work, like Battle Eye or something. Ugh. We'll have to wait and see. It's something that's obviously very important. If you're playing in the persistent universe and there's a hack that you can do that has low detectability, some people will do that. And that would be incredibly stressy for me. And everyone would... So one of the things in Star Citizen that I worry about is that if you get killed by someone and there's no kill camera in Star Citizen, there's no one... it doesn't tell you who killed you. What is your... You don't know if you've been unfairly killed. You don't know if someone's hacking. You don't know what's happened to actually get you killed necessarily. So a lot of people will just assume instantly that it's a hack. Or not know if it was a hack. And so they do need to have some stuff. I would like to know who killed me every time I've been killed, or give me some information. Though some people might say that, like, sort of like, well, if they did it stealthy enough, you wouldn't know who killed you. I was like, well, Wouldn't you know? Would there be black boxes and things? So it definitely needs to be looked at, is all I'm saying. It's an interesting one as well, because obviously we need hack prevention. How easy is it to make your game hack-proof? Well, probably impossible to make it hack-proof, but how much of EVE is hacked? How much of... I would say PUBG is hacked, but I don't play PUBG because of the amount of hackers in it. And when you get to the higher ranking games, it is just hackers. At least that's what it was back in the day. Back in the day being a good few months ago now. When will they implement survival mechanics? Will there be a possibility of getting animal-borne respiratory sickness? Sort of SARS citizen, I hate you so much. I'm going to still answer your question. It's not as if it was a troll question. So, survival mechanics, they are going to start to incorporate more things into what they mean by survival. So, let me actually bring up the Squadron 42 roadmap for this. Roadmap, because it is on there as more survivally features, but I don't know exactly where is it. Q2 player status system. It is Q2, so let's bring this up on screen. So you got in the Squadron 42 roadmap, Q2 2019, you've got the player status system. So the player status tracks the various well-being and attributes of characters. At the moment, it's health, stamina, and oxygen levels. But this will also extend to thirst, hunger, rest, inebriation, hygiene, and temperature. And this is for Squadron 42. So obviously these things are important when you're playing Squadron 42. So you probably could go do a whole Squadron 42 run without eating. However, there would be some side effects from that. So these have knock-on effects for player stamina and ability, and can be used by the AI behaviours to make intelligent decisions based on their own condition or the condition of others. So this will be part of the NPCs going off duty and eating and wanting to rest and stuff like that as well. So it's all quite important for NPC schedules, but also players having that survival sort of gameplay, and it's very light survival mechanics because you don't have to literally go out and make food. You have to get it quite accessibly. You just need to remember to do it. Yeah, so any time from second quarter 2019 onwards is when we'd see it in the persistent universe. Is it illegal to BoredGamer and pilot my Warden at the same time? What? Satterball question mark. We don't know when Satterball's coming. Satterball will probably be worked on at some point again. It was originally done by Ilphonic, and I think it was done to the wrong scale, or there was a problem with it, so they had to bin, I think they had to bin like 90% of that project, Satterball and Star Marine at the time, which is why that was delayed by over a year. So I think that was some bad management from CIG or some problems with Ilphonic, potentially. Don't 100% know what happened. But Satterball should be looked at again. It still appears in the lore. When they get a team dedicated to Arena Commander and Squadron 40 and Star Marine, I suspect we will see Satterball back on the cards. Maybe in a year or two's time, maybe. Bored, do you do YouTube as a full-time job? Yes, it's YouTube content creation, the website, SoundCloud, lots of other stuff, but it's all content creation, 99% for Star Citizen. There is a second channel as well, BoredGamer Extra, which is going to start to see some love and some work. I'm employing someone else full-time to work with me, end of April I think it's going to be, Zinnia, if you've seen me play games with her before. She's going to be playing lots of Star Citizen with me. We're going to be doing multiplayer game stuff. We're going to be, she's going to be doing editing. So basically be doing the same stuff that I do. Hopefully get good at editing and then do my editing for me as well. But that allows me to stream with someone and more regularly, allows me to make more gameplay content, allows me to make better content in general by getting better shots and having more time to do stuff as well. Because my channel's reasonably popular. It's popular enough to make a reasonably good living off, and the rest of the sort of like merch and donations and things like that, they are starting to be able to pay for someone else to make the channel better. And I've always said that I wanted to get another editor in, and she's cheap. So, good evening, Bored. Good Crimbo? Yeah, it was a good enough Christmas. I've had some family issues with health. recently, which is a bit shitty, but it's part of life, unfortunately. But Christmas was good. Got to see all my brothers and their partners, and my mum and my dad, and we all had food together and had a little quiz, which my mother was supposed to run, but she couldn't read properly or understand any of the questions, so I had to run it. It was fun. Is the Idris K kit lifetime insurance? I believe so. I don't know that for sure. Question, is your shiny head a kind of beam weapon, and where can I buy one? Just send me all of your donation money, and then one might appear in your account. That's not true. Mr. Alex XG1101, thank you very much. Fruits of your labour. What's the coolest thing you have known about before general backers in the past? So it's typically when I go on office tours. Hopefully I'll be able to go on one or two again next year in the UK office. You get to see a load of stuff that they're working on. Typically they try not to... The Squadron 42 stuff is really kept close to their chest. But you get to ask questions of like the ship design team, and they might show you some cool little ships. They might show you some universe stuff that they're working on, like making Space Predator, or some new assets that are coming in, or some new mechanics, and you actually get to see them show you stuff like, would anyone like to see an Idris? And they can float around the Idris and look at all the different parts of it or whatever. It's pretty cool. If you get to go on an office tour, I recommend that you jump to the offer. I've only ever been to the UK Manchester office, the Winslow office. You want me to let my beard grow? I could let my beard grow. I just don't really know what to do with my face. It doesn't work very well with FOIP at the moment, having a beard. Have you played the glaive, and how does someone deploy the wing blades? There's a hotkey for it. BHGJ. Was it a num? It's a key on your keyboard. I can't remember what number the blade is. You can deploy them. I think I used to deploy them by turning them on. This is ages ago. As a missile. I can't remember, but yes, you can deploy them. I recently made a Reddit thread about ship costs in game. How long do you think someone should play to get a cutlass? That's an interesting question. I think you should be able to grind for a cutlass in, I don't know, a week of casual play? Maybe a bit longer than that. Maybe 2 weeks of casual play, sort of thing. I think that's reasonable. It's hard to say because you need to work out what sort of missions you're going to be doing and the risk and reward of stuff that you're doing, and are you working with other people, but you don't want to get ships really quickly. When do repairs come online, like the advertised running around your ship and fixing things? This is also going to be higher times to kill as well, not just running around fixing things. I think... do we have any extra things in 3.6 for repair? I think we do. I think repair. So repair version 1 is coming in 3.6, which is, well, at least planned to come in 3.6, which is at the end of June 2016, 3 years ago, 2019. And that should have the ability to run around and repair stuff a bit more by hand, take out components, things like that. It's going to be the first implementation of that, and it's going to get more advanced as we go down the road, but that's when it's starting. Or at least planned to. Do you know how the effects of G-force while flying are compared in real-life flying, like in space or atmosphere? I don't... They're not true one-to-one or anything like that. It is gameplay fun mixed with something real that happens, as far as I'm aware. How is the insurance to be in release? 6 months real time or what? I believe it is 6 months real time. But they had previously said that you might have to be logged, it might be real time logged on real time. But I suspect it will just be 6 months from when you use the ship, bam, 6 months flat. Not in-game time, just flat. Fun versus realism. Do you think Star Citizen reached the sweet spot? Well, that's what it's aiming for. It's aiming to find the as close to the sweet spot as it can. I think it will get somewhere close to it. We'll see what it's like with the new flight model in 3.5. So that's coming at the end of March, and that will give us a bit more of an idea where the planned combat goes. Yeah, I think Star Citizen is going for that slightly more Second Life-esque sandbox. It takes time to do things approach with briefer bursts of combat and risk reward and stuff. And yeah, you could just do hauling missions, you could just do delivery missions, but you can also have these things that happen during them. And it's a big time sink game like those Second Life games, and I do think it's going for a lot of what Eve goes for as well. And there are going to be these big battles and stuff, but I doubt they're going to be super long protracted battles.
Think I
They might
will
be.
buy the Constellation Aquila. What do you think about it?
Think I'll build the Constellation Aquila. What do you think about it? I think it's a great multi-crew exploration ship that will also allow you to do a little bit of everything as well. So the Andromeda, I think, is probably one of the best multi-crew ships around, and the Aquila just goes slightly more down the exploration route, which will have longer range as well, and gives you all the little extras, little rover and everything, to allow you to explore. Yeah, I think it's cool. But I wouldn't have it as a single player. If you're part of a group and you know they're going to be using that as part of the group, great. But if you're a single player, then I'd go for a single player ship in the shorter term. Maybe join an organisation, maybe get some other stuff in game. I'm not super pro buying ships. I just want people to know that. Like, I think people do what the hell you want with your own money, pretty much. You want to buy spaceships, fucking buy spaceships. You love an item or something in game, fucking buy it. If you've got the spare capital, you've got the spare income, whatever, spend on what you want. However, I do think that you'll be able to buy everything in game anyway, so why not get it in game? If it's totally spare money, you've got a little bit of money, you want to buy something, do it. But I'm very much sort of like, you don't need anything beyond a starter ship. That said, I've probably got about £3 worth of ships now, so, you know. Do what I say, not what I do. What else we got here? Serious question, will multi-crew ships like the Starfarer and Reclaimer have dedicated pantries to store food in, or will we have to use cargo? Good question. I think that the kitchens and stuff will be able to have little cupboards and stuff to have food in. So if you've got a dedicated kitchen, those cupboards, they should have like a small SCU, like even though it's 0.25, available for food, which will probably be enough for quite a long time. But I think on larger ships, you might have to have some of the cargo dedicated to food. Do you think the new female models will bring thoughts into Star Citizen? Oh dear, I'm avoiding that question. When do you think they will do the minor patch? Having loads of problems in Arena Commander, running stuff at the moment, it's annoying. I haven't actually played too much for Arena Commander, especially I haven't played any in 3.4.1. They were doing hotfixes, and they have been over the last few days to the servers. If it's a patch issue, then it's probably going to be early January before you see anything like that patched out, unless it's super easy to do. Thank you very much, Captain Kara. I love your face. Got a live stream. Hope you had a great Christmas. Thank you. I did have a good Christmas. Thank you. What's your view of the Valkyrie? I think it's a great ship. I think at the moment it is one of the best ships to experience Star Citizen with, because it allows you to do a bit of everything. You can have a tumble cyclone in there. You can have you can have a whole like organization flying around in there at the moment. So it's great for those like little org events that you want to do. If you want to do like everyone killing each other, or like the Destruction Derby that we did with the Spanish community, the Los Cinco de Roberts, that sort of stuff. You take everyone in there on a Valkyrie, bam, and then spawn all the vehicles in and all that sort of jazz. So at the moment, great. However, in the full game on paper currently, it's not the longest range ship. It can't land on pretty much anything other than a Bengal, I think. Or potentially, I suppose it can land on a Kraken, but it can't land in any of the like carrier ships. So like that reduces its range to me, which made me feel like a bit like about it. I love it. It's just, I wish it could land on the Javelin. How many different starting locations would you like to see when the PU releases after Squadron 42? So when the PU is more sort of developed, starting locations, I'd like to see all of the super secure zones in the UEE space being starting locations. That's what I'd like to see. I don't know how many that would be, but I'd like to see at least 4, probably. Are they going to patch? Are they going to restart after the patch or not? Don't know. They occasionally restart databases and re-implement databases after a minor patch, but they don't always. Typically after major patches every 3 months, they almost always do. Bleep bloop, achievement unlocked. Hungry hungry pilot, complete the campaign without eating. Insomniac, complete the campaign without purposely going to sleep. Yeah, I'd like to see some silly achievements like that. When do you estimate they will stop doing resets at major patches? When they have full persistence. I think that might not stop it permanently, because they might decide to reset after they also have server meshing fully in, or occasionally when they're the game's not fully live yet properly, so it's still alpha phase, when they go into beta and when they go out of beta maybe. But I suspect we'll have much less in the terms of resets every 3 months. Once we have full persistence in, and I'm expecting full persistence probably towards the end of 2020. That's when I'm expecting a more full, almost sort of like beta kind of product for Star Citizen's Persistent Universe. It might get pushed back for 3 to 6 months sort of thing. I say pushed back, that is my own internal schedule of looking at the roadmaps and looking at the progress they're making and looking at the Squadron 42 roadmaps and stuff like that and seeing whether I think they will be. If there was only one thing gameplay-wise you could get prioritised and one bug you could get fixed, what would that be? Gameplay-wise, currently, if it was getting it done over the next week, it would literally be making sure all of the missions are accessible, the mission givers don't bug out, the items don't disappear out of your hands, they don't fall out of your inventory, they don't fall through the world, that sort of stuff. The mission accessibility to complete them, NPCs don't go haywire, whatever. That's what I prioritise in the very short term, and then it's going to be 3.5 flight model. Get that done. Get that done. Get that nailed down. Should this game be considered a space sim if you can theoretically stay on a planet and do missions, mine, and make lots of UEC? Yeah, I mean, it's primarily a space sim. However, it's now a first-person shooter / space sim. It's very much like Second Life in space now. It's sort of like the line they're going down. Do you think there will be road-making jobs in-game? Tar Citizen. I hate you! No, procedurally generated roads. However, you might be able to make roads on your own territory. Oh, that's a good point. Maybe you'll be able to build roads. I'm going to cough, I apologise. How do I access the Clem drug dealer missions? They're impersonal. He's on Levski. He occasionally has a mission in there for you. You never have access to them. Every time I've logged in, I've had access to a Wallace Clem mission. They're on Levski, they're in your personal missions. At least the start of them are. Actually, all of them are. Do I use Golden Voice for voiceover work? I don't know what that is. And what do you think I should be a voiceover artist? I'm a pretty common British voice. Common British voice. You want to smash any... Why do you want me to smash a keyboard? Oh, okay. Can you talk more about the persistent features on 3.6? In what sense? What do you want? What do you want? Persistence features? What do you mean? What, the persistent item cache refactor? So 3.6 is getting ready for more server meshing stuff, more people in the system, more people in areas. They're physicalizing inventories. I suppose maybe that's what you meant. So physical inventories will mean we can only carry what we can fit on us. We're not going to have magic pockets of holding. You're not going to have all your armor on you. You're not going to have all your weapons on you. You're going to have them stored in lockers. You have to have them delivered to certain places, and you only have what literally is on you. So yeah, that's getting more and more persistence in for that sort of stuff. Your ships will be where your ships are. If you're on Grimhex or whatever, in the shorter term, that's still going to be you'll spawn them in. Once they're spawned in, they're at that location, but you'll be able to spawn them in anywhere for the first time you spawn them in, maybe. Can you make a mission giver guide how to? It is literally on my list of things to do. I was going to do it today, but I instead started doing the Wallace Klim sort of chain of missions and did some stuff in service security post Korea. Why can I never say that properly? SPK. But I will. I'll do the video I'm going to do on mission givers is literally going to say these are all the mission givers available in the game at the moment. Here's where they are. Here's how to access them. I've noticed there is a noticeable difference between the blade design and the glaive. Is there a chance the glaive will get tiny art pass? Yes, so I'm expecting the Vandal ships to get a bit of a pass and take in all of the stuff from the blade. So that basically the scythe and the glaive need to get a pass. How was your Christmas board? It was okay. I've got some got some health problems with one of my family members. It's sort of like just a bit shit at the moment. He's got to have an operation, which is just shitty. But Christmas was good, and I'm confident that everything will be fine. It's just a bit shitty. I get anxious about that sort of stuff. It's not nice. What else have we got? Talked about the Valkyrie already. Top 3 features from Squadron 42 Star Citizen roadmap that you want most. Titan suits. From the Squadron 42 roadmap. Love those Titan suits. Squadron 42 beta / completed. That's another one. That would be cool. And then just the capital ships. The capital ships that are in Quarter 4 2019. Got some fucking amazing Vandal capital ships there. Got the Bengal. I suppose I also quite want the Q3 ones. Because there we have the Idris M, the Cutlass Red, and the Javelin. I have a Javelin. So that's when we might start to see stuff like that come into the persistent universe. Probably the quarter afterwards. Might be a bit even later than that. But, thoughts on eating, drinking to survive? Don't necessarily need to eat and drink to survive. That didn't sound like that to me. It sounds like if you don't eat or drink, then you will start to take hits to your stamina, and there might be other negative effects. So you might get a little blurry outline occasionally or whatever. Your character might get dizzy, or might not be able to run so fast, things like that. So light survival I'm kind of okay with. Expect resets with every major 3-month patch, and occasionally with minor patches, but they don't always reset for minor patches. When I say reset, I mean Alpha UEC and Alpha UEC purchases. How will Star Citizen protect gameplay loops that aren't combat from the Rust, Murder, Hobo crowd? The criminality and reputation systems, some systems are going to have like policing, that are going to be very heavily policed. Other systems not so much, and in the riskier systems that aren't so patrolled or protected, if you are solo, you are very, very vulnerable to the Rust, Murder, Hobo crowd. However, if you take escorts with you, you're much less vulnerable. Are they going to update the PE roadmap now that we have the Squadron 42 roadmap? If so, when? I was expecting that last week. Hopefully they'll get it done this week. I don't know, though. We do need that Persistent Universe roadmap updated, though. What kind of electronic warfare are you looking forward to once it becomes a feature in the game? Spoofing signals, hiding signals, radar jamming, sort of like confusing people's HUDs and things. There's lots of stuff they could do. I don't want electronic warfare to be super overpowered and aggressive, but I do want it to play a vital part. in battles, like disrupting missile locks, things like that. Making friends look like enemies very briefly, and vice versa. Will you be able to buy an F8 in-game? Yes. Once you get to a certain point in Squadron 42, military items will unlock based on where you are in Squadron 42 for your character in the persistent universe. I don't know exactly how you'd buy one if you didn't have Squadron 42. You could probably purchase them off another player, or there might be some other ways to get them, but they said yes, you'll be able to buy them in the persistent universe. Any idea when those extra grav pads will be used for in the 600i? Any ideas when those extra grav pads will be used for in the 600i? The ones in the rear cargo areas are always empty. Grav pads. The cargo bay lock pads? I'm not sure what you mean, sorry. Questions about service being offline? What? What? Am I not reading English properly? Question: if enough of your deceased characters gain criminal reputations, do you think your character's family will develop a negative reputation?
Buy so
No.
many spaceships.
Well, okay. Oh, thank you very much. Mixes. Thank you very much for the donation. Very much appreciated. Love your face. That's an interesting one. So, does reputation get saved and carried over to your new character? I don't know. The idea is that when your character dies in the game, you have a certain amount of lives, basically, and if you die stupidly a few times or whatever, then your character could potentially properly fully die. When you're fully dead, you have to make a new character, but you can send all the equipment and items or whatever over to a new character. I'm not entirely sure exactly how that's going to work, but that's what they said. You create a new, it's like a soft death system. However, how much reputation will be lost? Is all your reputation lost with all the different factions or whatever with a new character? Don't know. I suspect that some of it will be lost, at the very least. But I'm not sure if maybe it'll just normalise on all levels a bit. But I don't know. It's something they need to discuss and work out. Thank you very much, Nick the Grizzly. Love your face. Do you think they'll create missions that put players against players? For example, Crusader Industries needs you to stop those that are hacking the mainframe at Security Post Korea. Yes, and they do already. There are missions there where there are counter missions simultaneously generated. But yeah, you'll see a lot more of them in the future that are trying to get NPCs and players fighting each other, because NPCs can take these missions too eventually. Will they include mini games at some point, like card games and even Don't Blink? Stare, Citizen. I think so. I think we'll have some physics games like chess or card games or whatever. We saw like them make a little basketball game. They've got pool tables. I think that they might make them so they're usable. I think it's probably not too hard for them to do that either. Any idea on when we might see NPC crews? So, they need the more developed AI. I'm thinking that we will see it next year in its first implementation. That might be something they show at CitizenCon rather than actually give us into our hands, though. There was some stuff about it on the Squadron 42 roadmap, but I cannot remember exactly where it is. It will be under AI somewhere. Heuristic flying, version 2, spline paths, collision avoidance, nope. So, they're adding more and more of these AI features that are needed for NPC crews in the persistent universe throughout the Squadron 42 roadmap. So we've got like the gunship AI and the standard pilot AI and takeoff and landing travel and lots of different things that the NPCs all need to do. But it all needs to really come together before we can have NPC crews, and we need physicalized components, what else have we got that we need? Core AI improvements, all of the task system to be done. So there's quite a bit. Maybe we won't see it. We could potentially see it, but it wouldn't be in our hands next year. Sometimes it's a hard, I have no fucking clue. But that's sort of like, they need a lot to come together for that. It's on the roadmap for Squadron 42, and then they need to get it working in the persistent universe, so it takes a bit more time. We could see something early stage implemented for NPC crews that you interact with and use. I wouldn't expect them in game next year by any means now, thinking about it, but it's something that we could see or start to see next year. How does the salvage mechanic work? We don't know yet. I'm expecting it to be very similar to mining in its first iteration. So you detect something that is scavengeable in the same way that you detect mineable. So you ping, boop, it'll give you a blob where things are nearby. You fly to it, you have to detect its signature. You go, oh, it's a piece of a ship, and then you'll mine it with a sort of like mining laser, but a salvage version of a mining laser. That is what I expect its first implementation to be. Eventually, it will be you stripping the hulls off things, but also blowing parts off of things, and also using a multi-tool or welding tool or whatever to detach like weapons, like a full-on weapon, take that in your cargo hold, taking its items and systems out of other ships, putting them in your cargo hold, stuff like that. How will the Asperia Vandal ships differ from the real one? They are pilotable by a human and have a HUD that humans can use. That is understandable by a human. The Vandal actual ships shouldn't be different at all, other than that, really. Other than the Vandal ones will have all Vandal symbols on and fit their bodies rather than the human body. If they took 6 years for one side of the system, how are they going to make 100 systems in fewer time? That is not a fair comparison at all. That is madness. And they're building all the things that they can generate systems and stuff procedurally anyway. It's the gameplay mechanics that take a long time, not the gameplay area. And they could generate 100 systems probably in a week, but they wouldn't be very good. They'd look good, but they wouldn't have much in the way of hero content. But when they've got one system fully done, it allows them to make a lot of systems very easily. And they can actually make a lot of systems very easily now, but they need to work on all of the sort of like biomes and stuff, and add more and more and more and more to their sort of pile of biomes. So you'll see probably middle of next year sort of thing, late next year, the move on to another solar system, I would expect, something like Magnus or Proro, which is proximate to the Saturn system. But I've talked about it in loads of videos before, and CIG have as well. Really looking forward to your mission givers videos. Hope your family health issue resolves soon in a positive way. Well, I'll probably talk about it at some point. I'll talk about it at the end of potentially at the end of this thing. I have a resolution problem where if I set any resolution over 1080p, the game's zoomed in. Let's see the chat client in my helmet. Is that unknown bug? I don't know. That's weird. I'm in 1440p. After you change your resolution, if you quit out and come back in, does it have your resolution saved? Do you know what are the yearly ship sales, like anniversary sale and talk like a pirate sale, etc.? I don't know. I don't know what you mean by that. Should we be able to corrupt a system like disabling all comsats will increase the rate of pirates? Yes. So players and NPCs will drastically affect what missions are happening in areas and what's going on there. So if you keep on blockading shipments of cargo, whatever, from one area to another, missions will be generated, prices will go up. If you kill a load of pirates out in an area, something more sinister might turn up, or the system might be cleaned up more, or the price you're getting for killing pirate missions might go down significantly, whatever. So yeah, you'll have a big impact on things like that, and yeah, you might be able to disable the comsats constantly, and that might make loads of pirates turn up. Do you think the Phoenix Emerald is finished? Yes. Well, you can sort of get drunk now. It's just not great. Thank you very much. I appreciate the love, guys. Thank you. Seen an old video of guys in Star Citizen set up where he had his power sliders of shields, weapons, all running on a tablet. Yeah, there's tablets that still do that. I think there is literally a new. I think this is SCP-ADD. It's sort of like a newer Star Citizen sort of like tablet button project for the MFDs to be external, actually as like hardware IRL. So check that out. I'll look at it properly myself on a video at some point. Loving your channel, Bored. What do you think happens when you stick a Toblerone choc up your bum and then lick the melting contents out? Hope that makes sense. Huh. Any clue what kind? Oh, that's someone asking someone else. Merry Christmas. Will there be tribes like sand people in the verse? Yes, we actually saw that in one of the things. The raiders, the raidery dudes. They've got their own little language as well. Is it 2016 Gamescom? CitizenCon? Talking about in-game mini-games. I hope we have Shuffle Puck and air hockey. Yeah, so do I actually. Fuck it, why not? You mentioned in a Steam some time ago, or so we say stream some time ago, about building or manufacturing guns. Was that just an idea or something CIG said? That's what I want, Bannerwolf. I want manufacture of items, so munitions, food, that sort of stuff. Because my idea, what I would like to see is that bases. So when you put sort of like ground structures down, when you put outposts down, I want them to have really, really important meaning, especially in non-UEE areas where there aren't necessarily supplies readily available. And if you can make your own supplies and own munitions and own stuff to keep you or your fleet going in that sort of like riskier area, then bases are really important, because you want to find enemy bases and shut them down, destroy them, take them over, or whatever, because then you dislodge them from that area, and it would be really hard to dislodge them otherwise. So we really do want manufacturing of items and at least the consumables and fuel and things like that. But that is something that CIG have sort of like very briefly said, maybe, and like moved on from it. And I've very much sort of like, I think this is a really good idea. This makes outposts really useful and really important in the more zones where you can potentially make more money, but in the sort of like zones where there aren't any UEE or presence, the outlaw areas. And outlaws can operate from them as well. Like, you go, how do we deal with these pirates in this area? Well, we take out their base. Do you think being able to simply trade players will be coming out soon? Beacons are great, but sometimes it's more convenient to just trade friend money. Oh, I see. So just a quick, simple trading system so I can give you money. Yeah, I mean, we've wanted that for ages, haven't we? So yeah, I think it's something they could put in pretty easily. A very sort of like quick send money to that person, and sort of like mission sharing. I think that'll be in reasonably soon. We could start to see that sort of stuff in 3.5, 3.6, where they don't know exactly when. I know it's on the backlog. No, I don't know all of the sales they do every year. Well, I can tell you some of them. They typically have a concept sale every 6 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks. They have a CitizenCon sale on around the 10th of October. They have an anniversary sale mid to late November. They occasionally have a holiday sale, which we're sort of like having at the moment, which is flyable ships and some starter packs. Every major patch they'll have a flyable ship sort of like go on sale thing. And then they occasionally have Talk Like a Pirate Day and Veterans Day and things like that as well. How will CIG make long distance flights, such as exploration, not boring? Because there's only so much pool and chess one man can play. There could be lots of different apps on your Moby class. There could be lots of stuff to do around your ship, repairing your ship, making sure stuff doesn't get burnt out. There might be lots of things that happen to you on the way, detecting distress signals, getting other missions, pirates pulling you out of quantum travel, that sort of stuff. For super long distance flights, they're probably going to be somewhat boring. If you're deciding to move to one side of the galaxy to another, that's going to be reasonably boring, because there's only so much that can happen, and you're choosing to move a stupidly long distance. Yeah? You see what I mean? If you're just choosing to move to, like, between 2 and 3 systems, yeah, it would take a little while, take like maybe half an hour or whatever, but there'll be stuff to do on the way. We still get a bullpup rifle, almost certainly. How big will the game be on launch? One solar system or many? So they want to have every 3 months releasing more and more stuff. I suspect once we have something like a beta of the game, we'll see 2 to 5 systems straight away. When we have something that's more like off-the-shelf release, I suspect 10 to 30 systems sort of thing. What are your thoughts on the Squadron 42 dates for beta? Do you think they're going to achieve that, or is Chris underestimating the dates? Don't know. I think we could see. I think we could see Squadron 42 release in 2020 as a good probability. Question, do you think we'll see biomes like in the movie Avatar at some point? Yeah, they want to do big, fast forests, and they're doing Nordic forests for Microtech in Stanton, but we'll see jungles and things like that as well, definitely. What do you expect to see in 3.5's lore reputation system? What features do you expect to be included? That is a really good fucking point, and I don't really know. So what does it actually say for this? Designing and implementing the initial iteration of the reputation and law system, allowing for localized crime ratings and reputations, along with integrated location-based missions. So yeah, more missions, more reasons to be a bad guy and a good guy. What else do I expect from that? Probably police will chase you when they witness you do a crime, GTA style, you have to get away from them. And then your reputation will mean whether they shoot you on sight or not. Your crime rating will probably be just how many stars of police are chasing you at the time, things like that. But yeah, more missions based on that. And hopefully a nice bit of conflict between players and go, well, there's reasons to be an outlaw or a pirate, more reasons. Is the CIG crew on holiday until next year? So they have a skeleton crew, some volunteers that are working there currently to help with major issues and get some hotfixes and things like that done, but most of them I think are coming back early to mid-January. I'm expecting a 3.4.2 patch pretty soon when people get back, yes. Why are some ships not on sale like the Reliant Sen? Some ships they will sell once they are flyable. Other ships are artificially not sold to create hype and generate, so like artificial scarcity. Scarcity? Ah! Scarcity. Will the planets orbit a star? Yes. Do the moons orbit their planets? Yes, they will. Do these bodies spin? Yes, they do already. They rotate. They don't currently orbit, but they will be orbiting. Not properly, anyway. Do you think they'll ever sell the Cygnus Spider Miner? Yes, I think it will be available in-game. I'm not sure if they'll sell it on the website for real money. But more and more stuff will start to be sold in-game soon. How much involvement do you want CIG to have in the persistent universe once it's live? I want there to be games masters running events. I want there to be story events. I want there to be a presence from CIG in the persistent universe. I like the idea of them doing silly things. So if they can do it right, I'd love a CIG presence in the persistent universe. Thoughts on in-game trading? Importance and priority. I mean, at a very basic level, very important, and I would prioritise so they can send stuff to players or at least have them share mission rewards. That's pretty important. But as long as they have it when the game's sort of like in beta, I'm kind of okay. But I would have that as quite a high priority, a very basic implementation of it. Have you done any cargo hauling this patch? Yes. And how do you like the economy tweaks they've done? I don't know. It's hard to tell. I need to do more of it, but is there something specific you wanted me to look at? I haven't really done everything enough to be able to work out where everything sits. I would actually like missions to be worth even more. Hey, Mr. Board, when do you think we're going to add clone, org and clan stuff in game? I think we're going to start to see more and more of it from 3.5, 3.6 onwards. Expect to see more and more and more. The next pillar they are trying to get into the game is going to be organisation stuff and group stuff. So I'm doing okay, thank you. Do you think the economy system will be fleshed out enough to allow for future trading on resources? Futures trading. I don't know. I think you'll be able to store resources and items. I think you'll be able to sell them in a big load. So you'll be able to hoard stuff. You'll be able to affect prices by blockading things or taking certain missions or getting other people to take certain missions and stuff. So I think the economy will be affected in interesting ways, some of which will be unforeseen. Do you think boarding will be viable? Yep, it will be viable, but, and because it's an important part of the game and it's an important like cornerstone of they want combat to work and stuff, but they need high times to kill, and they need times to disable, they need physicalized components, all that sort of stuff, so that ships can be permanently disabled or damaged or need heavy repair before they're workable again and stuff like that. And then you can take out a ship's engines and then board it or whatever. What can we do with a second game package in our account? People have talked about potentially being able to have multiple characters and that sort of stuff. We don't 100% know though. I haven't super confirmed exactly what's happening with it. What do you think will be the next big ship sold at next year's CitizenCon? I don't know. I'm thinking next year we'll see a lot of ground vehicles doing a lot of the work that ships do, so like salvage one or repair one. I think we'll see Titan suits as well, obviously, because they're going to be ready for Squadron 42. See the Corsair Drake, which would be like the Constellation Aquila, but with Drake in mind. Drake's answer to it. There's lots of stuff we could see. We could see some other capital ships, some in-between ships for that. A medium-sized mining ship. A small fuel ship, or I suppose you could say the Vulcan is that. Should CIG have Crusader security scan cargo holds for contraband? Yes, and they will eventually. There'll be customs, there'll be scanning and stuff like that. Their response, if they find it, will be that they ask you to stop, and they'll take it from you, or whatever, or they might shoot on sight, or they might chase you. How will Star Citizen or CIG make money after Star Citizen is released? So they've said they're going to be selling the in-game currency. They'll obviously be selling game packages still, and then and they have voluntary subscriptions. And then obviously they'll be selling Star Citizen. They'll be selling Squadron 42 still. Now, they did also say that they would explore other options if necessary. So these could range from them still selling concept ships, which I would expect them to do. They'll probably go, fuck it, let's do it like Warframe does it and sell early access or access to these ships straight away with concept sale. I don't really care if they do that or not. As long as the gameplay's fun, as long as it doesn't become pay to win, I'm fucking okay with that. Other things that I could foresee in-game ads that would be like, they could have Coca-Cola do an ad there, but they'd have to make it so it's in-game. It's in-game in law. So they'd have to make a brand for Coca-Cola, and they'd have to make it so it is Star Citizen appropriate. Then you get very high-quality ads that are done in-game, and that sort of stuff. They might sell skins and aesthetic items. So you might have like your Hornet. You could have like a dragon painted on it. And it's $5. Stuff like that. That's what I'm expecting. Or that's what, rather than expecting, that's the potentials beyond what they've said. Will you be getting a Reliant Mako board so you can report events in the verse? Yeah, I'm hoping that there's other like equipment for it as well, like maybe literally a shoulder-mounted camera for the render to texture stuff. We need to know more about how that mechanic's going to work for the news reporter stuff. But yes, if the Reliant Mako is the only way of doing it, or one of the best ways of doing it, yes, I will get one. Is there any guesstimate of when the Hercules will be released? They're going to be doing the Mercury Star Runner first. We could potentially see that at the end of next year, I think. And then they're going to do all of the sort of like Crusader liner ships one after another. So I suspect you would get the C2 for the Hercules after that. Do you think from beta to launch that they'll reset UEC and ships purchased in game? I'm expecting it, but I'm not sure. I'm preparing myself for it. How about some kind of name tags or something when you look at a player? Now you stand right next to them and you don't even know who they are or if they're in a party. Yeah, so what I'd like to see from players' names and stuff is the ability to turn on and off player names in your HUD, bam, and players to be able to transmit their names. So you can say, yes, I want people to truly know who I am. It's like I'm in a public space, I want people to know who I am. Or no, I don't want people to know who I am. They can't see who I am naturally, but I want people to be able to scan people down. So people will be able to look at you, and they'll be able to go, beep, 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 beep. This is this person. Yeah? And I think that's a good way of doing it. Will the Cutlass Blue come with the Bounty Hunter mechanics? They're adding more and more of the Bounty Hunter mechanics as they go. So you'll actually see more bounty hunting missions in 3.4.1 now. You'll see more and more in 3.5 and onwards. The bounty hunting mechanics basically just are less than lethal weapons, which will come hopefully pretty soon, and the ability to store people as cargo, and then something that happens to people once they've been captured. We could see that in 3.5. We could see, with that reputation and law system, some more bounty hunting that's more like that. Do you know if the engine overheating in quantum travel is a bug? No, I don't actually know if it's a bug or not. Happens on ships like the Hawk regularly though, doesn't it? I'm assuming it's a bug. Or it could just be one of the side effects of that particular quantum engine. But I think it's a bug. Will there be an ATV today? Yes, it says there will be. It said there will be on the weekly news thing from last week. Should we expect to see CIG employees in the verse in a similar way to EVE moderators? I expect so. I hope so. I hope there are games masters there to solve problems, but I also hope there are some games masters there to drive plot and some like major story events and things, and to do cool stuff in the verse. That would be cool. Do you think ships will be more likely to crash land if you hit the ground too hard in the near future? Yeah, there'll be more physicalized damage and component damage. Yeah. What did I get for Christmas? Not much. Meals and stuff. I had to refuse presents from people. I know that might be rude, but I do appreciate people giving me stuff. Thank you very much. If you want to donate, you want to give me presents, go to the channel. It will go to giveaways, whatever. Great, but I don't like taking stuff from people where possible because I don't know if people can afford it. I'm not sure if they're being kind or not. Do you know what I mean? Thank you. I do appreciate it though. Like I genuinely do. Sorry if I seem ungrateful. I worry about things like that. Do you think Lawville will have the authoritarian feel where having firearms even visible will be illegal? Yeah, so Lawville very likely will have you're not allowed to bring weapons in through customs, something like that, and you're not allowed to have weapons on you. Yeah, I do think it will have that very oppressive authoritarian feel. And you'll get some areas which are no weapons at all, but you can smuggle them in and things like that. Do you think they're going to reduce Hurston atmosphere? It takes so long to get out. I hope they go, right, let's make it a little bit closer. Let's make it a little bit closer so we get out a bit faster. Or allow you to travel a bit faster when you're getting out of the atmosphere. Yes, I share your pain with several minutes to travel. How do you make a suggestion or provide feedback to CIG? So you can go on Spectrum, and there are threads on Spectrum to provide feedback. You can also go to the Bug Council, the Issue Council, and do it through there. Feedback on bugs and stuff. I am going to be making a video on feedback and bug reporting very soon. How much do you think the level of attention which is being paid to new non-core content is having an effect on the delivery schedule of the game? Okay, so it's all part and parcel of the same thing. They're expanding. There's going to be like 650 employees or 600 employees or so soon, and it's all part and parcel of the same thing. Like, people are constantly saying more ships. They've got so many ships in game now. There's not that much more in the way of ships to actually complete. And you actually look at it. So it's all part and parcel of the same thing, in my opinion. I think the fact they produce concept ships and have ship sales makes them more money, which makes them have more staff, which makes the game complete quicker. But Star Citizen is going to be a labour of love. It's taking its time. It's just a brute fact with Star Citizen. Any ideas or guess on the roadmap and what it will look like for Q2 and Q4 2019? We've got the Squadron 42 one, a bit like that. It's going to have some of those stuff subsumed in the Persistent Universe one, almost certainly. When will the next CitizenCon be? It will be October, sort of like 9th, 10th of October next year. To respond to your question on my question, I noticed the best profit is runs between 2 planets. By the way, you're awesome pillar of the Star Citizen community. Keep what you're doing. Thank you very much, Carl. I love your face. I try my best. People like me and Nubify identified a need in the market for Star Citizen using information and to do it relatively neutral and just talk about it. So that's what we do. But I am a Star Citizen fan, definitely. I love the project, love the community. But I will regurgitate the news, and occasionally I will give my opinions on it, and sometimes I'll do videos that are opinion pieces. But I don't like the idea of me doing calls to actions of, I want stuff to be done like this. I just think, make up your own minds with a lot of the stuff. I know they have said that mods will be supported, but I've heard that before. I ask CIG once a week if it's okay to crack it open, and they've never answered me. But I've heard that before, ended up losing my account. I don't know what you mean. Are you talking about like the more hacky mods that Citizen Reactor are doing at the moment, which is technically against terms of service and end-user license agreement, I think, at the moment? Or are you talking, I don't know what you mean. But they want to support mods eventually, yes. And I believe private servers still. Do you think ships will be more likely to crash land if you disable? Yeah. So in atmosphere, there's going to be a whole new flight model and everything. If you disable a ship, it's going to crash. It's going to crash land if it's in atmosphere. If I'm flying in my Aurora, which makes me an easy prime target, is it griefing or piracy if I'm killed over and over again because my Aurora is easier to kill than a Freelancer or a Hornet? Depends where you are. So, if you're repeatedly killed on a landing platform in a super secure area by the same person who is clearly just bullying you because he's just ramming you with his own ships, lol, scrub, yeah, then that's probably griefing. However, if you keep on going to the same area and you keep on getting killed, that could be because that person has a contract to protect that area. It could be for a lot of different reasons. So probably not griefing. Griefing for me is if you are locked down in an area and they are preventing you playing the game for no legitimate gameplay reason. So if you're on Port Olisar and they keep on pad ramming you, and you can't fight back and you can't do anything, and they are effectively getting away with doing that. What do you think the ultimate limitation is on the number of concurrent players in the same instance? I don't know. The server meshing allows them to have smaller and smaller servers, smaller and smaller boxes that a single server can sort of like operate. So I don't know. I think that they're still trying to work that out. If you land upside down or in a way that you can't exit your ship, will there be a mechanic so that you can get out, like cutting through your ship or something? Oh yeah, maybe. On the smaller ships, I typically think you'll be able to get out of them, whatever, even if they are upside down. You might be able to have like the EVA packs might be able to act as tiny little jetpacks to prevent you taking full damage. Do you think they will license out the technology such as object container streaming and server meshing, character DNA, and others for millions or billions of dollars? I don't know. We'll have to see. Eventually, we'll have to see what the Star Engine and what they've done with Star Citizen actually becomes. Are they going to go down that line eventually? I don't know. They could have an amazing modding community, though, if they expose their tools for people to create what they want with. So I don't know. I think that CIG will be making other games beyond Star Citizen after Star Citizen and Squadron 42 episode 1, 2 and 3. When do you think the game is finished, and do you think the development is going smoother than before? Yes, significantly smoother, significantly better than it was before. I mean, they are actually starting to deliver now, and they've got a much better plan, and it's much more doable, in my opinion. Don't know when it's going to be done, though. I think we're going to have something like a Star Citizen Persistent Universe beta-ish thing, end of 2020. And then we'll check back then, I suppose. We could see Star Citizen on the shelf end of 2021, something like that, maybe. Do you need a fighter like a Gladius for some bounty hunting missions? I have a Cutlass Black. You don't need them, no. I mean, Cutlass would work. You'd have to be reasonably good in it. You've got a good amount of firepower at the front. Having someone in the turret would really help. You could do it in a Cutlass. You can do it in an Avenger Titan. Given mistakes made by other AAA game companies like EA and Bethesda, how closely do you think CIG is paying attention to that and trying to avoid those fuck-ups? It's a different sort of kettle of fish, isn't it? So CIG are much more beholden to the community than EA and Bethesda are. They're much more beholden to investors and shareholders and things. So EA and Bethesda could move on to mobile games and make fuck tons of money, and that's what they care about. CIG is trying to make a good game to prove itself. So hopefully they will continue to do that, and it won't ever fall into the sort of like perilous pit hole of bullshit just for trying to make more and more money, because it's only a short-term way that you can do that when you're just trying to satisfy investors and trying to bleed your community dry. If you go for the more long-term approach and try and make a genuinely good game, then you probably will do better long-term. It's Squadron 42 vertical slice in the background right now.
Keep up engaging the community, man. You are a treasure trove of information that is both timely and accurate.
I love the way it paused before timely. Thank you very much, Sidero. I love your face. I appreciate that. I appreciate the love the community give me. But all I do is read Star Citizen stuff and watch other people's Star Citizen videos and read all the Star Citizen articles. And I watch a lot of shit videos. Oh my god. And some people that I would refer to as real shitters. But I feel like I need to absorb all of that and read all the comments, or at least a lot of the comments, to understand what different communities think of different things, because then it allows me to understand and put my own sort of like ideas together. Do you think the Endeavour with a scanner and the hangar modules would be a good territory patrol ship? Yeah. Yeah, why not? We're not sure how those modules will work yet, but it sounds cool on paper. Will there be alien strippers or any adult content? I mean, there's going to be adult content, but I doubt it's going to be naked, sexy lady content. No, no, no. Do you think there will be some high reward contracts in the near future? I suppose what you mean. Yeah, I think we'll see that stuff in 3.5. I think we could see some edits to the missions in the short term as well in 3.4.x. With 14 million only covering about 6 months development, do you expect another big sales push soon? Look, okay, they've made more money than they've ever made. They'll expand until it doesn't look sensible for them to expand any further, money-wise. They want to spend their money. 14 million, it's not going to cover 6 months of development, though, is it? Because they're going to be generating more money each of those months as well. So I think they can go indefinitely with the current level of funding. What is the best thing and worst thing about Star Citizen and Squadron 42? The waiting time is the worst thing. Genuinely, the community and project are the best things. Like, it's so interesting to see a game made like this. It's so interesting to see all these different communities having different opinions on things about Star Citizen and Squadron 42. It is super cool and super crazy at the same time. It's awesome. will update. We'll have AI crew members able to be hired.
beautiful.
We don't know. We might start to see stuff like that next year, but I'm expecting to see it like at CitizenCon rather than actually in game. Thank you very much for all the bits, Sidero. I'm not sure how. I love you. That's basically what I'm saying. I love your face. How do you think CIG will balance ships when the game releases? We'll know more about balance once we have the new flight model in 3.5. But there's going to take a lot. There's going to be a lot of stuff going on with balance. Like there's a hell of a lot of balance to do with each individual component, each individual weapon, each individual hull. It's a nightmare of balance. Thank you. I appreciate the love. Do you think moon and habitations are going to be usable soon? What do you mean? You actually want to spawn on moons? Or are you talking about the outposts there? What else have we got? Reaction. I looked at Citizen's Reactor and they are on the same track. You must crack it open in order to mod it. I will be patient. Yeah, that's basically what they're doing. Check them out. I think I'm waiting to see what CIG's response to people trying to mod the game now. I mean, no one is using it to like hack in and use it hacky in game currently. They're doing their own offline sessions and fiddling around with stuff, which I think I want to see modding in game sooner rather than later. I remember when Pirate Swarm was modded into the game, so I want mods and I like that idea. But also, I am quite respectful of their IP and stuff, so I want to see their reaction to it. I want to see what they say about it. Hopefully they'll be like, yeah, well, maybe we don't support this, but this is our statement on this, or we don't really care, it's all fine at the moment, or whatever. Hopefully they'll be more sort of like, grey market, we don't really care that much. How will mods work in Star Citizen? They're usually banned in online games. You wouldn't, so the idea is maybe you'd be able to get Moby-Glass mods, like apps for a phone, cool, but you wouldn't be able to use mods in the online session of Star Citizen. They would be for private servers, and they've said they wanted mods in private servers. What else have we got? I heard a rumour that they will let you buy ships with a customised loadout. You did hear that, because that's going to be what they do for the 300 series in 3.5. That will then become what restores with an insurance claim. Can you fill in details on this? Yeah, so 3.5, so end of March, the 300 series is going to be the first line of ships that get this new system where you can purchase them customised with different colours and potentially different loadouts and potentially different interiors, whatever. Some sort of customised system that you do on the website, and then you buy your ship like that, and that's what it will be insurance claimed restored to, I suppose, as well. But we don't know exactly how that's going to work, but that's when it's coming. Thoughts on ship armour and how it might work. It will protect the location and mitigate some damage to that very specific location. That's how I expect it to work. It could be its own item that is literally physicalized as well, potentially, which would mean it needs to be destroyed or damaged before you get penetration through it. Who is the shittier videos that you most dislike? I'm not going to say that. That would be very rude. I don't like to call out other content creators or other people because they just have different opinions to me. It's fine to have a different opinion from someone else. It's not fine, however, to go, this guy's a cock. I don't like that sort of bullshit. I don't like channels that do that. I don't, because it just, then they just feed each other's communities with, I'm going to do a video on this content creator because I don't like him. I was like, oh, fuck off. That's your opinion. You do what you want. What's your take on FTR's Star Citizen videos? He's a content creator that I do not share pretty much any views with, but he's got his own opinions. He's allowed them, and he can talk about Star Citizen. He's part of the community, and yeah, it's certainly necessary for people to have voices like that. Yeah, he can talk about what he wants. I do not necessarily agree with anything he says. Although some of his stuff, he's had points in the past. I see that with a lot of different people. They have different views to me, and that is fine. However, I think I report on Star Citizen relatively neutrally when it comes to a lot of things. but I am clearly a Star Citizen fan, and my channel is all about Star Citizen, but I don't necessarily need to constantly hype it up or be positive about it. I'll talk about it how I want to talk about it. And he has the right to do the same. When will they fix the Freelancer Max bug for not being able to lock, unlock, open doors, and close doors? Is it broken? I did not know it was broken. I don't know. Soon, I suspect. Question. What do you wish for? Do you look forward to have monsters and an entire planet infused, like in Dead Space? Oh yeah, I want. I'm very much looking forward to animals in game, and yes, I actually want to do big game hunting as something I do. Kill some like big sandworms and things. Can we out shares into CIG or one day become a shareholder? I don't think so. I think they were only very specifically selling off a small portion of the company to get a big bit of capital at this stage. I think Chris and Aaron and the current shareholders will probably want to keep hold of their shares. But I don't know. Anything could happen in the future, I suppose. At official game release, will we all start out at one location, like Olisar, or will we get to choose a starting system or planet? I believe we will get to choose a starting system or planet, is my expectation, and it will be from a few different starting systems, maybe 4. How do you think we will add cargo spaces for weapons or on smaller ships? I think there'll be weapons racks behind the ship or as part of the exterior of the ship or something. What's better, the Avenger Titan or 300i? At the moment, the Avenger Titan. However, the 300 series is being reworked for 3.5, and if you're trying to buy one or thinking of buying one, wait until we see what they're doing with the 300i and 300 series. Should Star Citizen include a ground-based mining vehicle that can be transported? Yes, I think that was a fucking good idea. I like that. I like that. Something that's meant to operate from an outpost, probably, but yes, I like that idea. When are we going to be able to set up mining rigs on planets? Probably with more of the outpost and construction mechanics when they come in, whenever they are. When do you think the new Crusader ships, the Mercury and Hercules, will be flight ready? Potentially Mercury end of next year. However, I suspect they'll just be... we might see it at the end of next year. They're going to be working on it certainly for then, and then the Hercules after that. They're going to do all of the Crusader ships one after another, apparently. How much more ships to come until finished? Until finish? Some. A few. Most of the rest of them are on the Squadron 42 roadmap. So we will see most ships completed by next year. At least Squadron 42, not necessarily in the persistent universe. And then there's a few more to come after that. But they'll continue to do concept sales because it's in their interest to do so. But we've got a lot of ships in game already. When do you think multiple players will be able to share cargo space on a single ship? What do you mean by that? Do we know anything about the PDS turrets or the point defense system stuff? We know that they're going to basically be controlled by AI blades. You can literally go, this turret is going to be a PDS turret, and we'll do some derpy sort of like things, and it'll take up some of your blade slots in your computer to have some sort of like pre-programmed shoot torpedoes, shoot ships, shoot this. There'll be a derpier version of NPCs for a limited amount of uses. Limited scope of uses, I suppose is better than limited amount. What is the mining tick? I've seen videos of it. It looks amazing. What's its purpose? To mine! It was for Squadron 42. We'll probably see them in the persistent universe as well at some point. They're for mining. Nom 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 nom. Do you think we'll see characters bleed out? Yes. With pools of blood when someone is dying or other realistic body damage. Yeah, I think we'll see slightly more gore. They're not going to make a super gory game or anything, but I think we'll see blood. I think we'll see trauma to areas so people can look at it and go, I need to put a bandage or a splint or a stabby stab or look at this part of their body to stabilise them, whatever. I think that will play into medical gameplay. Do you know a workaround to the bug where ships don't appear in the customization menu for Arena Commander? No, I do not. Sorry. Do you think Star Citizen server meshing will be like Game Atlas, where sections of the system will be on different servers? Sort of, that's how it's going to work. Hopefully not in the same fucking way as Atlas, Jesus. So basically server meshing takes object containers, and it says one of these object containers, whether it's a big one that contains lots of object containers or a smaller one contains just a single room, can be run by a server. And that will scale up and down, so they can go, right, well, this tiny room has 30 people in it, so we need to spin up a server just for that single room. But the object container outside of it has another 200 people in, so we need a server for the outside of that room as well. So they can spin up and down servers based on the needs of the object containers. So each object container can be run by one or more servers. That's the idea how it works. So yeah, it is sectioned off, but it's sectioned off dynamically. Will we take damage if too close to the exhaust of a ship taking off? Yeah, probably actually. Eventually, there'll probably be damage areas and stuff like that. That's sensible. We don't at the moment though. Do you think? Do you expect both ArcCorp and salvaging to make it into 3.5? Yeah, until I hear otherwise. What else have we got? Anything interesting here? With the recent debut, recent debt bridging by 2 angel investors, do you foresee any further capital deficits coming? It's interesting you say that. They sold 10% of the company, so 10% basically of Chris's shares went. I assume it's Chris's shares actually, rather than just the company shares. Got 46 million in capital added to the game. Those people might want dividends paid to them at some point, but it's not going to be until after Squadron 42 is released at the very least, or hopefully not until Star Citizen is released. I don't know what their further financial plans are, but they're going to try to want to keep as much of the company as they can themselves, just because it makes them more money in the long run. I didn't like the way you worded that, personally, but do you think the 300 series will go up significantly in value? No, not significantly. Maybe a little tiny bit. Do you think they will sell the Spider Miner? They could. And yeah, they might convert some more Vandal ships over to Asperia. They might not. I love Star Citizen, mate. I love the project, love the community. I'm only going to get more and more into it. Getting someone else to work full time with me next year, early next year, and that should make the channel significantly better as well. In fact, I'm going to drop offline in a second and release my first mission giver video, doing like one of Wallace Klim's missions, and I get some feedback on that and work out how I'm going to do the rest of them. So it'll be a mixture of mission giver missions, just general gameplay loops and stuff like that. Just want them there so we can track them as they get better and whatever, and talk about Star Citizen as I play them and talk about the different elements of them. And I want feedback on that to see how that series develops, but it's solid content for the channel as well. So, how does fuel scooping work in Star Citizen? Is it implemented yet? So the actual harvesting of fuel is not in yet, and fuel scooping is sort of like just on a simulated amount. So your hydrogen fuel generates. But eventually it will be proper scoopies and fuel mining, but it's not in yet, not properly. Have we had anything about improved landing guidance? They've talked about some stuff being on the backlog. They want better landing, but they're not entirely sure how they're going to do it. There might be belly cams, there might be better stuff that shows you like wire inputs of the area around you or whatever, but they haven't confirmed anything yet. When will they start selling the game? When is it ready for release? Squadron 42, they want it to be sold in 2020, properly, and then released then on the shelf. Star Citizen, I'm thinking end of 2021. Question, do you think a group of maybe 5 players could each buy cargo and put it on the Battle Merchantman, so it's not all investment of a single player? Yeah, I think that will be a thing. They're going to want to put more and more group stuff in. They're going to make it reasons for more and more players to work together. So yeah, certainly. Probably not too far away from some group sharing stuff. Question, Crucible fixes different materials or will we be stuck using the same materials each ship needs? say on phone. I have no idea what that meant. I'm so sorry. When you are mining, will you say nom 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 until it's done? No, not continuously, but occasionally I will say nom nom nom. Will we be able to close and open all doors from the cockpits? Yes, yes, I suspect so. They do want a security MFD and security stations as well, so you can have some of the controls where maybe you have internal turrets, maybe you have to lock and open and close doors and vent doors into space and open airlocks and things like that. Dead Space monsters? Question mark. I think we'll see some scary monsters. Yeah. I think we'll see a bullpup-esque rifle. Yeah. Chris Roberts said at CitizenCon there is no release for the PU, and that's why they want to get full persistence and server meshing. They will stop resetting the servers and the game live at some point. Do you think we'll have multiple systems by then? Yeah, I think we'll have multiple systems before we have server meshing in. Yes, that's my expectation. I also think we will have something a bit more that we would consider a release build and an on-the-shelf release for Star Citizen at some point. Whatever Chris said about no release, he was more sort of like talking about in the near to medium term, they're going to constantly release Star Citizen for 3 months. There's nothing on the roadmap that says this is the released product. They're just going to keep on improving it every 3 months, and then at some point it will be like, well, this is beta. This is sort of like got all of the game mechanics in, and we've got some gameplay area, and then they'll expand the gameplay area out, and then that will be what we would consider a release as players. And I assume that CIG will hopefully go, and now it's sort of done, but we're going to keep on every 3 months improving it. At least every 3 months. At the moment, there's no incentive to rearm, refuel, or repair your ship. Just reclaim it. How do you think this could be rectified? Costing a lot to actually reclaim your ship, taking a bit longer, damage your reputation. There's lots of stuff they could do. Thoughts on headshot insta-kills with the scalpel sniper rifle? I mean, it's harder to do in the persisting universe. It's a sniper rifle. If you power up a shot, and you hit someone in the head properly, you should kill them. Maybe not if they're wearing the super heavy armor and you don't hit them in the visor, but I'm suspecting we'll see some mitigation to certain weapons, like you might be able to have armor, which is incredibly good at absorbing energy damage, and then those sort of like energy sniper rifles would be like, well, they're not that effective. Can we currently enter the atmosphere of Gas Giant Crusader? Not really. When you get close to it, you just die. Do you think? How do you think gas mining will work? I think you'll go to an area of gas. Some of that gas, in like a gas cloud or whatever, will be mineable, like minables are, like asteroids are, and you'll go up to it and you'll nom it up. And there'll be some gameplay for that. What's your opinion on Infinity Battlescape? I've actually got access to it, but I haven't played it yet. So I will check it out at some point. Same as Dual Universe and a few other games. Do you know if players will be able to own entire planets or systems, like ArcCorp owns Erston? So I don't think players will be able to own whole systems and planets. However, they'll be able to say they do. They'll be able to go and have a planet that's locked down mostly by test or whatever, but it's a whole planet and there's space is quite big, so you'll be able to, you know, trespass and attack there and do things like that and hide under the radar. People might not even know you're there, but you'll be able to say it's your planet. Which bear is best? Brown bear. Grizzly bear, actually, thinking about it. Oh no, polar bears are pretty cool. So, oh my god. Will you be devising a set of requisites for your future channel partner? Do you have anything in mind? What? I've got a person in mind, Zin. Zin's going to be the person I employ, Zinnia. She's perfect for what I needed to do, so. And working with other content creators, I'll work with pretty much any other content creator to either discuss stuff or play games with. I'm going to get more and more involved in actually playing the games with other content creators and the community. And in fact, I'm going to start the BoredGamer organisation in a bit more earnest in the next few weeks, so that we can play more regularly during the days, and I can get more gameplay footage, and we can do silly things, and it will all go on the channel, or some of it will go on the channel, or some of it might just be used for B-roll or whatever. I like your theory videos, but this feels like a scam. But worst scam ever then, because, you know, it's a game that's being made regularly and you can see so much of everything. It's so open. I reject you thinking it's a scam and go, it's demonstrably not a scam. Do some more research. It's ridiculous, in fact. Literally ridiculous to say that. What is your favourite beer? Asahi. It's a Japanese delicious beer that I like. I quite like Jupiler as well, which is a Belgian beer. Very sweet. Which beer is best beer? Merry Christmas. Thank you very much. Love your face. Korea's closed. You're closed. False black bear.
Like
oh, beautiful.
Leo.
Oh, why is your name so complicated? Astra la Popis. Thanks for the incredible content, BoredGamer. Much love. Thank you very much for having a name that's unpronounceable by my brain. Why can't we just pay a fine if we have a crime stat, like level 1 or 2? I think that's going to be one of the ideas, is that you will be able to get fined and stuff if you get caught when you've done lower level crimes and things like that. I've been playing this game for hours, many days, many weeks. I love it. Worst scam ever. Storing your ships after landing instead of waiting for them to do it. Let's say someone firing at Olisar and you just run up and put your ship up and don't get blown up again. It's not a question. Will there be armor that boost haggling, repairs, mining, salvage, medical? No, I don't think so. Right. Any other questions? Before I go host someone else, because I'm going to go eat. Worst scam ever. What are you looking forward to being implemented most? Salvage, bounty hunting, gas mining, data running, scanning, or medical mechanics? It's salvage and medical mechanics on that list are the ones that I'm looking forward to most. Salvaging, because it's cool, and I have a reclaimer, and I love the reclaimer, but also medical mechanics add so much more to the game. There's a bit picking people up, and they'll be injured, and you'll be able to pull them to safety, and a lot more like that. That's really important, those medical mechanics. I think it opens up so much more to the game. Is it ready yet? Oh my god.
Tricksy little hobbitses.
Oh, thank you very much. King Dupe, I appreciate the sub. If anyone wants to further support the channel and not use Patreon, you can subscribe on the Twitches or on the YouTubes. There's a little join button on YouTube now, which gives you channel membership. I am going to be starting to give some exclusive content to those people that are Patreons, that are channel members, that donate and that sort of stuff as well. And there's obviously the donation button as well. But thank you very much. I do appreciate all the love and the money and support and everything that people give. If you want to get involved with giving feedback and suggestions, you can do that as comments on any of my videos, but also you can come into discord.gg/BoredGamer and give me feedback there, or contact me directly on Discord. I'm pretty receptive to people talking to me, and feedback is always welcome. It's very helpful as well. But yeah, and also going to start to play a lot more during the days, and if people are online, when they're online, I'll jump into the Discord and see who's around, and if people want to come play with me, great. If someone else is already playing, I'll jump on with them or whatever. I want to get some more footage. Yeah. Anything about living in houses or in plants? Yeah, we're going to have HABs, we're going to have customizable HABs at some point. I just don't know exactly when. But I landed at Ollie and someone blew up my ship. You think it will give us a way to store our ships so this won't happen? Oh yeah, so more quickly store it. I think they'll... So we're going to have, like, at Grimhex, there's the internal hangar system as well. So there's going to be internal hangars which you can land in as well, which are going to be a lot more protected. Landing pads are obviously much less protected. So there's going to be different ways of landing, and I think they're going to favour internal hangars rather than landing pads where possible. So there's going to be that, and they're going to replace a lot of the, like, Port Olisar is going to probably be replaced with a large version of a truck stop. So oh, people, wait, I was just about to sign off. Why doesn't CIG give the 890 jump owners both 600i variants as laners? I don't know. That's actually quite a good idea. I like that. But I don't know why. Why do you think the communication? Why do you think the communication about capital ship PU release has been so a shit show? Yes, you'll get it when they fit it in the PU, and no, you only get it after the Squadron 42 release. I think it's because they don't really know. They need to have. They'll have it finished for Squadron 42 first, I suspect. The military versions of these ships aren't going to be in the persistent universe before the civilian versions are. That's my expectation, at least anyway. So they then have to do more work for them for the PU, and then they need to get all the network code and everything working, so they work without imploding. But yeah, we'll start to see those capital ships from Q3 2019, potentially, in the persistent universe. Any idea what the Madman project, sort of consolidated Outland, could come up with next? Vehicle-based mining or construction? It could be loads of different stuff with consolidated Outland. They can literally do anything. Which way is financially best for you? Captain Carrot. Which support is financially best for you? Patreon, YouTube, Twitch, whatever's easiest for people. Best way is probably directly donating. However, it's not necessarily the most consistent way. So whatever's easiest for people is always good with me. What's your favourite class in D&D? Bard or Rogue? Why do we keep on asking you questions? Fuck you! Right, we're going to go host someone. I'm going to double check to see if G's online or one of the BoredGamers, because G and Zin are both going to be streaming Star Citizen. None of the BoredGamers here are online at the moment. They will start to see BoredGamery people streaming at some point soon. I'll appear on G and Zin streams a lot. But who else is actually playing Star Citizen at the moment? Anyone interesting? See if we've got any new people, have face cams, and that are speaking Anglishes. Newbie profession, thermoculars. Here's this guy.
Because the Eclipse ended up taking off and they got out of view. I then spotted an NPC Starfarer, which I've never...
So we're going to go host this guy. He's got a lovely beard. That's why I'm going to host him. Bam. Bam. I love you guys. I don't know what I'm going to eat yet. I'm going to go downstairs and see what's around or available. But probably chicken of some description. Oh no, put a chicken. Oh god, it may have burnt. No, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. I put it really low. It was good just before I started streaming. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. I love you guys. You take care. I'm going to go host this guy. And I love your faces. Slash host 30 makers. Bam. Peace. Hope that does it. Did that do it? That'll fucking do it. Take care, guys. See you soon. Thank you very much for all the support. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.